Hey Gulch, guess what I'm doing today?
Well, don't keep us waiting. Tell us, what are you doing today?
Well, Gulch, today I'm going to be doing a book review on Emblaze. Alright, so I am back with a book review video, and this is the third book of the Emblaze series by Jessica Shervington. I must say, in the beginning it was kind of slow. Don't get me wrong, the whole book, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I would say the first 50 to 75 pages, it was a little slow, and I was concerned because there are a lot of series where it starts out really strong and then it kind of dies down, like you lose some of that excitement, but this book is actually quite interesting, and I still love the series as much as I did, you know, from the beginning. Okay, here's a little spoiler of what happened in the previous book. If you haven't read it, then just mute for about 10 seconds. So in the last book, the way it ended, the Grigori were in a race against Phoenix to get to the scripture, and so they ended up getting, they each got the scripture that the other side needed. Violet ended up getting the scripture to, I guess like dark magic, where they can summon the dead, and that's the one that Phoenix wants, and then Phoenix ended up with the one for the Grigori, and so basically here we are at the third book. They want to do a swap. The beginning of the book starts out with them trying to come up with a solution to make the switch without Phoenix killing Violet, because he still has that connection with her where he can bring back old wounds, and so obviously that's not safe for her. However, he's not willing to let anyone else make this switch. He wants to do it with Violet. The Grigori wanted to know what was on the scripture that Phoenix wanted so badly, so they obviously made photocopies before they made the switch with him, and so they had to translate it, which Steph is back in the story, of course, and she is the brains behind the operation. She's the one that's doing a lot of the translating. She's figuring it all out slowly but surely, and so basically the switch didn't go the way they wanted it to, because Violet had to make a decision to save someone she really cared about or the scripture. It's one or the other, and being the kind of person that Violet is, she's not going to just let someone suffer. So at this point, the only leverage they had was Steph, because she's figuring things out that before Phoenix could. Then we meet Josephine and other Grigori from her academy, and they are packing up and going on another trip overseas. Because once they figured out enough information, they had to get to this volcano and try to stop Phoenix, because they figured out what they translated in the scripture. They had to go over to where he was going to raise the dead, to stop him, and to stop him from destroying a whole city. So there are several reasons why Phoenix hasn't killed Violet yet, because he needs her. She plays a role in this ritual to summon the dead. Shift in Violet's father's character, because he kind of added some humor to the story, because he's all of a sudden being like a real father. He's always just kind of ignored her and focused on his work. He didn't know how to like show love to her, and suddenly he's grounding her, he's setting curfews, and he's just keeping a really watchful eye on her. He calls her constantly, which is totally something new to Violet, which makes it all the more difficult for her to sneak off with her friends to go and save the world from Phoenix and Lilith. I did like that about her father, although I was kind of confused why he suddenly started acting like a father. I don't think that was really addressed in this story. Maybe it will be later, but he just kind of out of the blue started acting like a regular father. What's going on with Violet and Lincoln? They're still madly crazy in love with each other, but because they are Grigori partners, they cannot be together. And that is explained in the previous book, if you want to watch my old one to understand why, but they cannot be together, and it physically and mentally is tearing both of them apart. And you know, it's really intense, because the way the author writes and shows the emotion, not just telling it, but showing how each of them are feeling when they're around each other. It's kind of heart-wrenching, and I feel for both of them. A little more for Lincoln than Violet, just because you don't really know Lincoln's thoughts, since Violet, the whole story is seen from her perspective pretty much. And so Lincoln, he just seems a lot stronger of a character, and you just have to admire him so much. The thing I like about this story is that the characters become more three-dimensional, so to speak. They're not just, that's kind of an ongoing theme that they learn from Onyx, is that nothing is just black and white. You're not just good or evil, and I think the only two-dimensional character is Josephine, which she was so annoying. I couldn't stand her character at all, but everyone else, yeah, there's more to them than just good or evil. In that aspect, I feel like I could connect to the characters more and feel for them. Even Phoenix. I mean, there's one chapter where the story is told through Phoenix's perspective, which I thought was excellent, because, in all the books, you just see everything through Violet's perspective, and then to know what's going on in Phoenix's mind, he's like the ultimate evil in this book. And thus far, he has been the ultimate evil. And, after reading that one chapter, that was my absolute favorite part of the book, was just kind of, getting into his head and seeing where he's coming from, why he's doing the thing he's doing, and you just grow to appreciate him so much. And, I think I like him more now than before. Even though Phoenix is the bad guy, he does some things that will surprise you in this book, and that's what I really, really liked about it. It's not predictable. All the characters, there's so much more to them than what they're saying, and in this book, so much of that is revealed. Quite a few fighting scenes full of action and fun and excitement. It's always so hard to give a good review without giving spoilers away, but I really try. But the last, sort of near the end, when Violet goes back up to the volcano and finds the woman, the Grigori, up there, that scene just, wow. I mean, I didn't expect that at all, and I wonder how the author is going to sort of explain that in the next book, because it just kind of happened out of the blue, and there was a little bit of explanation of how it happened. I mean, yeah, there was a little, but they didn't really address it, why it turned out that way. Although I wasn't expecting this to happen, I don't know if I like that the book took a turn in this direction, because it was so out of the blue, and it wasn't really addressed how this woman, how this woman came to them. I'm hoping that the author has a lot in store for this character and that she needed her in this book, but yeah, I mean, right now she just seems kind of irrelevant to the rest of the group, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. And I think it's going to be another year before the last book comes out. I think it's called Endless, so yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I gave the other 2 5 out of 5 stars because they were just amazing, and I don't know, this book was, there's something about it. It didn't hook me as much as the other 2. I mean, I still love it, and I'm still, really excited to read the next one. With this book, there was a lot of time devoted to, Steph trying to translate the scripture, and I was just kind of like, come on, move it along, let's figure it out now, because I was getting impatient. But, I mean, it's all in all great book, and I do recommend it to anyone. And I am wearing a bracelet that I just got yesterday, but it's an angel wing. It would look more like a wing if it had 2, but I ended up getting a bow instead. So yeah. Alright, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for my book haul video that is coming up sometime next week. Alright, thanks. Have a good one. Bye!